before we get into map filter reduce, let's talk about a special function called as lambda function. Okay, lambda functions are also called as one-line functions or anonymous function. Okay, you'll hear ANONYMOUS, anonymous function. Okay, this is called anonymous because it will not have a name. Okay, so generally we say a function, we declare a def function name, right? We declare function as def function name, isn't it? So we give name to function, right? But here we don't, we can manage by not giving a name. Okay, so how do we write? We say lambda keyword, okay, and a lambda, and it has colon, okay, lambda colon. There's something before colon and there's something after colon. It's a one-line function, right? Lambda function or one-line function. So it is, okay, so there is something before colon and something after colon. Before colon, input parameters. Okay, so let's say this function takes 2 parameters as input. Okay, so I'm going to give x comma y. And what does it return? If the return logic can be done in one line, we use lambda function. So let's say, for simplicity, we'll say that the return is x into y. Okay, so we don't have to write def function name, bracket open, then return, right? We can manage with lambda. So the actual definition, actual usage does not require us to give it a name, but you can choose to give it a name. Okay, so I call it as, let's say, L1, lambda 1 something. Now, if I have to call this lambda function, I'm going to say print L1 of 5, 4. Okay, so L1, oh, so it will go and check L1, oh, L1 is lambda. So lambda takes 2 parameters. So before colon, you can have any number of parameters, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here you're giving 5, 4. So x becomes 5, y becomes 4, and it returns x into y. So when you run it, okay, you get 5 into 4, 20. Okay, so this is called lambda function, one-line function, or anonymous function, because lambda definition itself will not have a name. Okay, but you can give it a name. In our map filter reduce, we'll see how to use lambda without giving a name. Okay, so now talking about the features of list. So I said, right, map is one of the features. So see, if you have to, so when you have a list of values, right, and you want to apply same logic on all the values, you want to apply same logic on all the values. Okay, so let's say I want to do square. Okay, so you have a list. Okay, so let's say I create a list L1 or LS1 equal to 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. And I want to find square of each value. Okay, so how do? You will use for loop, right? So before for loop, we'll create ls2 empty, right? And I'm going to say for I in ls1, okay, and then you say ls2 dot append, and you say I square, correct? So after this, if you print your ls2, you will have the square values, right? So 2 square is 4, 16, 64, 256, so on, right? You'll have the square values. So this is how you generally would do, right? So there's a faster and efficient way of doing, which is using map filter. So map is an inbuilt function, okay, where we are saying that we will show one logic to one variable, and we say apply all these to the entire set of values, entire list of values. Okay, so for example, your ls1, okay, is a list, okay, and I want to apply lambda function. So how will I apply lambda function? So lambda is what? Lambda, sorry. Lambda, right? So here we'll take one member from list at a time. So I'm going to say x and return what? X into x squared. This is lambda function, right? So this is to do on one value, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I have to do it for entire data set, entire list. So that's where map comes into picture. You say map of lambda, this is the equation, and ls1 means take each value from ls1 and pass it to lambda. Okay, the output that you will get will be in a object format. So we have to convert that into list format. So that's why entire output, I'll say list. I mean, if you don't want to put list, you can say result equal to, and let's say you want to print result. Okay, so when you print result, you'll get a object, okay, map which is at this location, memory location. So if you want to get the values, you say list of. You can do list here or you can do list here, wherever you are comfortable. You can do list of. So that means output we are converting back into a list. Okay, so see, you get the output. So this is how you can perform same, operation on all the values. For example, let's say you have stock market price, okay, and so this is more useful, more efficient when you have lots of values. See, when you have only 4 or 5 or 10 values, you won't be able to see much notice. But if you have hundreds and thousands, you will see significant efficiency in lambda map actually. So now let's say you have stock price of in USD, right? You have, let's say, Microsoft stock price for last 6 months, 1 year. Okay, now you want to convert entire price in dollars into rupees, right? So you're going to multiply with a number, right? Maybe 70, 75 or 80, whatever it is. Now, when you so on all the 1,000 values, we are going to multiply with the same variable, isn't it? 70 into each of those. That's the case for that's a case of map. That's a case of map. Okay, you have temperature, okay, in degrees Celsius. Now the system that you are using is going to accept only Fahrenheit, let's say. The entire Celsius temperature that you have, maybe 100 and 500 or 1,000, whatever, each of those values needs to be translated into or converted into your Fahrenheit. So you have a formula to convert, right? So whatever formula is there, that formula you have to apply for entire data set. We have distance, okay, in feet. You have to convert all the distances into meters. Okay, so these are the situations, these are the occasions, okay, where you will be using map. Okay, so in one list you have the original value, then you multiply with this formula using lambda, and you apply map on this. So it's called map. So since each value is getting translated, so the number of values in the original list, okay, output will also have same number of original list, isn't it? If you have 500 values in the original list, the output will also have 500 values, right? And same position. So whatever you have, let's say you have a value in position 5th, corresponding converted value will be also be in position 5 in the new list, isn't it? So that's an example of using map. Okay,
yes,
this is map